those of you that are watching it in the recap whatever thing, you'll probably see all of this. Let's see. Let me turn. I don't know if that'll help add a little bit of light. That may help a little bit. All right. I guess I could start my normal. Hi, folks. Welcome to the Prepared Homestead. There you go. A lot of stuff going on this weekend. A lot of stuff. A lot of stuff in the news. There we go. We've got someone that just chimed in. Yay. Someone's on the live stream tonight. I had another one. Julie Lay is on the live stream. We've got a few people chiming in. They're jumping in. It takes a little while. It's kind of a slow start. There we go. Tian Twister, Cole, Frank Family Homestead. Hello, Kentucky. Oh, well, not now. It's moving so fast I can't keep track. Max, Regina, Mama, Carol, Laura. See, now it's I can't even keep up with it. Well, welcome all to the live stream. I don't think that I'll probably be on here too long tonight. We'll see. But I thought I would jump on here and just say hello to everyone. And I don't know, catch up on some of the crazy stuff that's going on in the news. Hello from Arkansas, Joe. Grandma Ginger is on here. Shabbat Shalom. I hope everyone had a wonderful Shabbat today. A good Saturday to just kind of relax. Today, it was beautiful here. Absolutely beautiful. It got a little cloudy towards the end of the day. It didn't look like the fake painted sprayed on clouds, but very beautiful day. Temperature was just nice. We spent most of the day outside, just kind of, hanging out outside because it wasn't too hot, how it's been where you go outside and you're like, oh, I gotta go back inside. It's too hot. It wasn't like that today. It was really nice. Humidity seemed to be pretty low, and the temperature was in the 70s, so you can't complain about that. Not for towards the end of July. Good evening from Kansas, says Carolyn. Good evening to all of you. So this whole Joe Biden thing of whether or not he's gonna be the Democrat candidate. I look sunburned? Someone said. I think it's the lighting. I don't really sunburn. I think it's this lighting. I'm sitting in the truck, and I think that's what it is. I don't think I'm sunburned at all. I almost never sunburn. I have to really, really be out in it a lot to sunburn. But anyways, so the whole Joe Biden stuff, it's crazy. It's getting crazy. And we'll talk a little bit about that, and then some big war stuff, and then who knows else, whatever we'll talk about. How's everyone's week been since we did the last live stream? Everyone doing okay? Crazy stuff, getting things done around your homestead, getting stuff done in your preps, spending time with your family. Let's see, helping out in your community. Yeah, it's crazy and insane. That's what it is. Where does one find finding the people, Jeremy? That's always the hard part. If you're in a rural area, you might have a better chance, or at least a somewhat rural area. Maybe I always say one of the first things to do is try to find a place to meet. Whether it's a little restaurant, sometimes they have little rooms off to the side that you can reserve, or a library room or something like that. And if you do that, then come up with a little flyer and go around, maybe your farm stores, feed stores, libraries, little mom and pop gas stations. A lot of times they have little bulletin boards. Start putting it up there. If you want me to announce it, send me an email and I'll say, hey, if you live in the vicinity of such and such, contact this email below because they're going to have a meeting. That's one way you could do it. But that's the difficult part, I'll admit, getting people to come out of the woodwork to come to a meeting like that. But if you stick at it, a lot of times it can pay off. So greetings from Southern Oregon and from Wisconsin. How are you folks doing tonight? So anyways, this Joe Biden thing, it's funny. It's entertaining to me. I have to keep asking myself, why do I talk about it? Because I honestly, deep down inside, I don't care. I don't care. But it's interesting, and the only reason I think that I talk about it is because it's so crazy that either no one really is in charge, which is always a possibility. No one really has any clue what's going on, and it's, multiple factions all, stabbing each other in the back to try to get to the throne, basically. Or there's something really nefarious going on, and I don't know that anyone's really truly figured that out because it's so crazy what they're doing. It's not like every other day or even every day. Hey, it's MT Knives. Haven't talked to you in a while, brother. MT Knives, some of the best. My neck knife from MT Knives is hanging right next to my bed. Probably the very best knife I have ever made. That guy makes them, and I don't know, the steel, the way he makes it, it's amazing. MT Knives. I've cut rope, cardboard, all kinds of stuff with it, and it still just keeps its blade. But anyway, so moving on. It's like every few minutes or every few hours, there's something different talking about, well, Joe Biden and his family are, considering stepping down, and they're trying to figure out, if Kamala has a chance to stand against against Donald Trump. And then the next moment, we're hearing, oh no, they've made it clear, and they've sent out messages to donors and everything that they are very solidly in this race to finish it. We've been hearing for the last several days that the Obamas are working with a lot of big campaign donors to basically stop giving money to Joe Biden's campaign and to try to push for someone different. And then the last 24 hours, apparently, it's come out that the Clintons seem to be doing the opposite. The Clintons are calling campaign donors and asking them to stick with Joe Biden, and that he's gonna be the candidate. And so it's just this back and forth thing. So then on top of all that, the day that everyone was waiting for, hold on a second, a little bit of coffee. The day that everyone was waiting for, today, it's been leaked. I don't know if this is how credible this is, but there's a lot of sources online talking about that the rumor mill in Washington is that the Clintons are trying to make a move so that Hillary will be on the ticket. That come the Democrat National Convention, that they will choose Hillary to put on the ticket. So it'll be a matchup between Hillary and Donald Trump again. Now, I don't know if that's true or not, because it's, like I said, it's changed every few minutes for the last few weeks. So it's crazy. It's absolutely crazy what's going on with the whole political thing. And then there's a ton of stuff constantly coming out about Donald Trump's his shooting, the shooting of Donald Trump, and some of it I've looked at, and it seems like there's some plausible something there. This one theory about someone being on a water tower, or at least someone being in a different location than the shooter that everyone knows about, the one that was on the sloped roof building, right? Well, there's been some analysis I watched, and they proposed that where Donald Trump was standing, and when he tilted his head to look at the big TV that caused the bullet to just nick his ear, he would have been in a position that where that guy was at on the roof, there's no way he could have just nicked his ear, because it would have been, I don't know. It's very, some compelling stuff. There's other stuff floating around out there. There's this one about someone in the stands looks like it could have been an FBI assistant director or whatever. I've looked into that one. I think that one's total garbage. I think it's rubbish. But it's crazy. There's some crazy stuff going on with all of the stuff surrounding the Donald Trump's thing. And then also the rumor mill is that Monday the director of the Secret Service is probably going to step down. So I don't know, but does it all matter? I don't know. Maybe not. I guess Grafted in Grace Creations, there she is. Grafted in Grace Creations Homestead is in the house. She's the soap lady. Yep, best soap ever. I have made homemade soap for a long time, and I've used a lot of. In fact, I don't think my wife and I, we've not used store-bought soap in years. But anyways, her soap is absolutely amazing. I know from a guy this sounds weird, but it's like super thick, lathery. It's a hot process soap, and she uses beef tallow, and it is amazing stuff. But right now she has a special deal, a special soap she come out called Brush Fire. So if you go to her website, graftedingracecreations.com, I think. Someone correct me in the chat if I'm wrong. I think it's graftedingracecreations.com. But she's got a soap called Brush Fire, and 15% of the sales of that soap go to our emergency response team / fire department that we're with. So anyways, she has shampoo soap. She has other stuff that's not just soap, but it's really good stuff. So then, let me check the comments before I blab on anymore. Because remember, I'm doing this on the phone, so the amount of space you get to see comments is like an inch and a half. So they kind of they move fast. Someone asked about my wife. She is in the chat right now. She the last few days, her hives have been pretty significant. You know, she goes through periods where it's almost normal, gone away, and then all of a sudden, and so the last few days it's been pretty rough. She's had some pretty serious breakouts. But she's doing okay other than that. Let's see. I know I keep smacking the camera and it's jiggling. So the other big thing, graftedingracecreations.com. There you go, graftedingracecreations.com. Best soap ever, but if you buy the Brush Fire soap, then some of the proceeds, 15%, go to help our fire department and emergency response team. Yeah, the lavender soap. She even, and this is, I didn't want to do this, okay, but they're good people, good friends of ours, and it's good quality stuff. And I thought, you know what, if it helps her make some more money, then fine. But she actually lists the soaps that I like. I think it's silly that anyone would even care about the soaps that I like, but they're on there. The other big thing I think in the news is Israel and Yemen. So if you haven't been paying attention, Yemen sent a drone strike into Tel Aviv. Now, from what I understand, that for a while now, Yemen has been sending drone strikes into Israel, but Israel has taken out every one of them. I think I read that it was around 200 drones that Yemen has sent towards Israel. And they've taken them all out, except one got through and struck in Tel Aviv, and did some damage. I think someone was sent to the hospital. Well, Israel responded with F-35s and F-16s, I believe, and destroyed a major oil depot there in Yemen. Huge. Some of you have probably seen the pictures and the video. It's a massive explosion. Big fire. You know, it's not just like, oh, that house or that building's on fire. Like, the area is massive. So apparently, because of that, everyone in the region is kind of up in arms about it. And Iran says that they're done. That, you know, Israel is now on their target. There's been some border clashes between Israel and Jordan, which is weird because Jordan's kind of an ally of Israel. So I don't know what's going on there. And then Hezbollah has announced that they have hundreds of drones ready to attack Israel, and Israel has expected those to happen within the next day or so. So it appears that there's been a big escalation. And I think the reason is, and Yemen has said that they're now full on going on to attack against Israel. So, and I'm not picking sides here. I try to stay fairly neutral as in reporting news, but the Middle East, a lot of these Middle Eastern countries, I think that Israel has now, since October 7th, I think Israel has attacked something like 7 Middle Eastern countries. And I'm not saying that they're not justified. I mean, many of those times you could say they are justified. That to me, that's not even the point. The point is that they've been doing that, and a lot of these Middle Eastern countries are upset, and they're saying that they're gonna escalate things with Israel. Now, they've been saying that for a lot of time. I mean, Iran, I think, has become the big talker there is. They talk really big and then they do nothing. So we'll see. But again, it does appear that things are escalating even again there. And then also the last few days, there's been a lot of talk. Don't know if it's true, but a lot of talk about China moving on Taiwan. So that's, but you know, we've been hearing that kind of stuff too. So anyway, someone asked, are we in danger in the US? I think our danger that we are in here in the US isn't specifically directly related to Ukraine, Russia, Israel, Middle East, China, Taiwan, North, South Korea. What I think that the biggest immediate threat is that when these countries, one of them or any of them, start to make a bigger move, you know, the things get escalated to a World War III level, then there's a very likelihood that all of these, or many of these people that's come into our country illegally, could start doing things. You know, terrorist attacks, taking out grid locations, you know, all kinds of stuff. Now, the other day, what was it, Friday? I think, no, yesterday or day before, that big internet systems outage, the CrowdStrike, I think, went down. And they're saying that it's the biggest internet support systems outage ever, and then it's going to take days, if not weeks, for companies to clean that up. Crowdsource, that's it, crowdsource. Things like that could happen. There could also be infrastructure attacks. There could just be attacks on civilians. So yeah, if things start to escalate rapidly in another country, just to the point of like a World War III, we have to realize that there are millions of people in this country from other countries. They're here illegally. And so, you know, what's to stop any of them from making a move on us? So that's a possibility. And then there's always it's just going to affect our system, you know, economic collapse, or at least a collapse like a depression becomes much more likely. Supply chain issues, because if we end up in a war against China, which it seems like we most likely will at some point, a huge portion of a lot of our goods and even the parts and the raw materials for goods end up coming from China, one way or the other. So we have to prepare for this, even if it's not like the biggest doom gloom apocalypse in the world, right? That would be comparable to some of these movies where it just looks like the whole world is ripping apart. Even if it's just World War III level, you know, conflict, depression level economic collapse, supply chain issues, things like that. It's a lot, and we're still, as a nation, in an extremely fragile situation. And then you have to roll all that into, we also have a crazy election coming up that there's no way you would convince me that this election is going to go off with just normal. It's not going to just be a normal election, one way or the other. I mean, look at it. They've already tried to take Trump out by shooting him. It could easily happen again. Something to happen to change the vote. Look what happened 4 years ago. Something like that or more extreme could happen. Or just some kind of martial law incident. Well, we can't vote this time. They've shut it down and we'll have to wait till next time. I think most all of us agree that something like that is probably going to happen. Something crazy, because it's this election, right? So we have to be prepared for it, big time. All right, let me look at the comments. I've been yapping, haven't been paying attention to your comments. It's not on purpose. I think this was the kickoff. Oh, I'm here. Is this another doom and gloom channel? No. I mean, I talk about the stuff that goes on, but I also talk about, I make a lot of positive content videos encouraging people. Yes, we talk about the things that are going on, but I don't want anyone to be depressed and living in fear. We have to recognize the threats that exist in our life, and then we have to do things to prepare ourselves for it, to take those threats on. And I don't think that's doom and gloom at all. White sage and frankincense says, tell that to the soap lady. Let's see. Worse than Y2K? Yeah, that's what they said. I mean, Y2K wasn't too much of anything anyways. But so hopefully folks start to wake up, Don says. If I get an emergency call, do we get to go along for the ride? No, but I actually have, I don't have the money for one right now, but I've thought about buying like one of them little GoPro cameras and attaching it to my fire helmet so that when I do fight fires, you can see that. I've thought about that. Has anyone heard of Ron Paul has given an opinion on the assassin attempt? I haven't. It's possible he has. I have not heard from him. I don't care what he says. I think you have a good view of things. Well, thank you. Let me keep smacking my camera around. Oops. Lurking while folding laundry. Well, there's nothing wrong with that, short bus mooner. Never know the truth. Skynet going operational. That I've heard several people say that it was almost like a Skynet going operational because it was global. And like I said, I'm just relaying what I saw in the news. But this morning they were saying that a lot of these big companies were saying that it was probably going to take weeks for them to repair the damage of this collapse. This internet, this IT collapse that happened. So who knows? And here's the thing. This is what the average person, we don't know and will probably never know. How much of the systems were vulnerable because of this? How much infiltration happened because of this? Or did this happen? Someone, a couple of you said Skynet. Did this happen so that the people in charge could actually put, upload certain systems into the computer system to, who knows? There's also the other theory that, and this, I've said this before for a while, that I believe that a lot of these cyber attacks are being done at a government level. I think most of you would agree with that, but I believe they're being done at a government level to cause so much fear that when the government says, oh, well, the only real solution to stop all of these cyber attacks is to turn the whole internet and all the computer systems over to AI, And people would be, okay, well, yeah, because I'm sick and tired of my bank account getting hacked and all my personal information getting hacked and my, computers at work not working, my phone doesn't work, all this kind of stuff. I think a lot of the cyber attacks is to push people or convince people eventually that we need to have AI in charge of all the computers, because AI is the only thing that could potentially, combat all of this, hacking and cyber attacks. So that's just my opinion. Let's see. Back to the comments. Didn't affect anything in one state, he said. Someone ordered Mars Men's Supplement. That's some good stuff. Late to the live stream. Hope everyone's having a great night. We are. Thank you. Can them. Oh, my wife is talking to someone about canning in the chat. 27 zucchini and over 50 pickling cucumbers, and we are still pickling cucumbers. Awesome, Frank Family Homestead. That sounds pretty amazing. And then someone's got blueberries going on. So a lot of cool gardening stuff. It's that time of the year. AI is Skynet. Yeah, I would agree with that. Sorry about the jiggly camera. I'm trying to scroll. See my finger? I'm trying to scroll through the comments and keep smacking the camera. Let's see. Trioxin, I guess is your screen name. Says canned 30 cans of salsa and over 20 cans of pickles. That's pretty awesome. We like our salsa around here. We're kind of salsa people. I like the green salsa. My wife likes the red. I like the green salsa. But that's okay if you're late, Tom. We won't, we'll just charge you a little extra. You have to pay extra because you're late. But yeah, so we've got this whole election thing. I mean, I was actually thinking about this the other day. Is it going to be, a lot of us, and I have talked about this for a long time, that there could be some of these big, massive events that disrupt the election, or it could be that they're just doing so much stuff. There's so much bombardment that people just get tired of it. I mean, it's been a week now since, Donald Trump got shot, and everyone's been talking about all this stuff, and I can tell you, I'm already tired of hearing about it. I mean, you can't get online without seeing something about it. You can't check the news without hearing that stuff. So I'm kind of tired of it already. And maybe that's part of the plan, is to just bombard people with so much information, and most of it's probably useless information that people don't even know what to believe anymore. I did see something in the news today. I guess Donald Trump spoke, and he completely disavowed the Project 2025 thing. Honestly, I haven't looked much into that. I kind of know what it's about, but I haven't looked much into that. But what was interesting is he also disavowed or himself from what he called the radical right. Now, does that mean that Donald Trump is going to continually shift more to the center and be more of a moderate? I don't know. Don't know. We will see. I think the bottom line is that we just all know that we got to get ready. Oh, someone's behind enemy lines in Colorado. Colorado is such a beautiful place. It's so sad that it's just become a liberal, crazy mess out there. And I love going to Colorado. It's one of my favorite states to visit. It's so beautiful. But goodness, it's crazy. Bottom line, only Jesus. Exactly, Dawn. That's right. That is the bottom line. Y'all need Jesus. And I don't mean that in a joking way. It's serious. We need him. I made a video the other day of how we have to change ourselves in here. We have to, that repentance, I think a lot of us, and maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm just, seeing myself when I say this, but I think we sometimes we see the world getting more and more wicked, and we say, "Wow, I'm so different than that," right? Like I believe in, I read the Bible. I believe in Yeshua. I'm saved. All this kind of stuff. I'm nowhere near like what's going on in the world, and we think that that's good enough. And I think for us as believers, we have to understand the very seriousness of the evil out there, and how it is at some point going to try to overtake you, not just government, not just your neighbors, but you too. And there's going to be temptations, and there's going to be struggle and tribulation that we all have to go through. And now more than ever, we have to draw closer and closer and closer to the Father, and repent, find those that sin in our lives, and cut it out. I mean, just cut it out, as if you're cutting off a limb. Paul talked about circumcising the heart daily, and now is the time to be doing that, because the evilness that's going to be, I mean, it already is, but it's going to get worse. The only way that we can really stand against that is if we're right in here. My wife says to tell everyone that the Grafted in Grace Creations, if you go there and you use the promo code SUMMER, you will get a 15% off discount. So if you use the promo code SUMMER at Grafted in Grace Creations, you get a 15% off. So that's a pretty good deal for a really good soap. And her soaps are the big bars. They're not the little tiny bars that you get. So, but someone, and I'm not going to pick on you. If you're still watching, I'm not picking on you. But someone just a few minutes ago said that they're new to this channel, and is this another doom and gloom channel? I'd like to think not. But the reality is that there is a lot of bad stuff going on. There is doom and gloom going on. I don't believe we should solely focus on that. I believe that we should be aware of it. We should be cognizant of what's going on, and it helps us to, get more prepared. It helps us to estimate and to come up with an idea of, okay, how much longer we have yet. It gives us a little bit more, a little bit better timeline of what's going on. But not for a moment do I want anyone to be sad, down, depressed, to give up. I think, and I've said this before, I said it just the other day, now is not the time to be sticking your head in the sand or going into your hidey holes. This is not the time to go lock yourself in a bunker. That there may be a time that happens, but I don't think that's now. Now is the time to strengthen ourselves, because we know that things are happening. Like we're well, way beyond the point of having this question of, are we overreacting, right? Are these events really happening? Is it really getting bad? Well, yes, they really are. They really are getting bad. And so now is the time to prepare for that. Now is the time to be making sure that you're producing as much food as you possibly can. Taking this summer to finish projects on your homestead. Now is the time to increase your food supply. Now is the time to develop new skills. Now is the time to, stock up more on your medicine. Now is the time to strengthen your family, to strengthen your heart, to get into the scripture even more. Now is the time to reach out to your neighbors and your people around you and build better relationships with them. Now is the time to do this kind of stuff. It's not the time to worry and to freak out and to think that everything's going to collapse, but it's not the time any longer to just sit and talk about it. We have to be doers, not just talkers. And I said this just a week or so ago. If watching content online, including my own, prevents you from getting out and doing stuff because you're consumed by watching stuff or keeping up with the news, you need to turn it off for a while. You need to turn it off, take a break, and get out there and do stuff. Because in the end, that's what's going to save you other than your relationship with the Father. I mean, I'm talking about physical salvation, not your spiritual salvation for right now. And so we have to be doing these things. There's no longer a time that it's in question of what's going on, right? You know, oh, is it to that point? We're at the point that I think most of you would agree that there's not really any plausible positive outcome, not in the immediate to all of this, that every direction this goes, things are probably going to be bad for a while. And I think the question right now is just how severe that bad is going to be. And so, you know, we need to just do our best to prepare as best as possible. So yeah, that's my opinion of it. Get in shape, get fit, absolutely. I've been working out. I work out 5 days a week. I get up in the morning and I go work out 5 days a week, doing calisthenics, lifting weights, just, you know, running, jogging, different things like that. So that's but yes, everyone needs to be pushing themselves to get into shape, because what we're going to be going through, it's going to push your body to its limits also. It's going to push your spiritual faith to its limits, but it's going to push your body to its limits also. And so I've said this for a long time. You need to be getting yourself in the best possible shape you can. If it's taking certain supplements, if it's losing weight, eating healthy, whatever it is, you need to be getting in the very best shape that you possibly can. Because once this all happens, it's really too late, because then you're going into survival mode and you're going to have cortisol increase. And so your body's going to go into this survival mode and hold on to fat and all this kind of stuff. So you need to worry about getting yourself into shape now before everything really falls apart. Now's the time to do it. Let's see. Someone says, I think we have 3.5 years. Thank you for the info. I don't know what that was about. Probably someone else. I don't watch TV. I don't have time to sit in front of the computer. I listen to my phone while chore here. That's the best way to do it. Short Bus Mooner is saying. Yeah, and that's the thing. I have found that so many people, they're extremely knowledgeable about what's going on in the world. They're extremely knowledgeable about how to do things. You know, they can quote you the technical side of how to build something or how to fix something, but they don't do it. And it's because they've become so consumed with, you know, consuming the knowledge, but they're not actually putting it to action. And we cannot allow ourselves to get into that place. We have to be pushing ourselves to do more. This country needs Jesus. We've lost our way. I agree with that. But we have to continue to be pushing ourselves. It's okay, I think, to consume stuff online, to, you know, find out what's going on in the news, learn things. That's fine. But if it is controlling your life, if it is consuming you, then that's a bad deal. So definitely learn to regulate that in your life. Chickens, sheep flock have been growing this year naturally, but our cattle herd isn't. Yeah, my wife says if you can't ruck, hike instead. You know, if carrying a rucksack, a backpack is too much on your back, you could start off with some kind of weighted vest. You could, if you have a plate carrier, start off with maybe just one, like just the one plate in the back. And if you get to where you can do that, put the other plate in the front. With plate carriers and walking long distances, a lot of times it's not the weight, it's the compression of the chest. So you can start off by wearing it loose. You know, you're not out, if you're just out there rucking for exercise and you're wearing the plate to help you, you know, you don't have to wear it quite as properly at first until you've conditioned your body. So, wear it kind of loose. Maybe start off with just the plate in the back, then move to the front. If that works better for you than wearing a backpack. Well, you can also buy weighted vests. But, start off with just hiking, just walking. And then from there on, work your way up, adding weight to it. That's going to be really important. Hey, Magic Prepper's in the house. Yep, I'm live from the truck. Thanks for joining us, Magic Prepper. So getting in shape is going to be paramount. And America has a big problem with that. America is so out of shape. I'm even though I'm working out daily, I'm still not in the shape that I want to be. It's not, I'm not telling you this coming from the position of being in perfect shape. I'm telling you as someone that needs to. See, August Rain says, thank you, Travis and Rivka, for all that you do. Well, thank you very much. I appreciate that. But yeah, spiritual shape, physical shape, and mental shape is what we need to be getting ourselves into. So if you are really bad out of shape, start walking, okay? No, in the long run, that's not the best thing to do, but what that can do is start conditioning your heart, because if you're in really bad shape, it's not just the weight you have to lose, it's that you have to condition your heart so that you don't have a heart attack. You may be an expert marksman, sharpshooter, and have all the cool guns, but if you can't run to your mailbox without passing out, then that's a problem. So, you need to start moving. Walking is good for that. You need to change your diet. I just saw someone said that, you're reading my mind there, Rocco. Stop eating sugar. Cut back on your carbs. You don't have to cut them completely out, but cut back on carbs. Most Americans eat way, way, way too many carbs, period. For starters, I'd say probably around 100 grams a day in carbs would probably be okay for most people. And cut out garbage food. Quit eating garbage food. Quit eating fast food. Quit eating seed oils. And start moving. If you don't have access to a gym, which is the problem with a lot of us homesteaders, go out there and stack wood. Take the wood pile down and restack it, and then take it down the next day from here and stack it again. There's all sorts of things that you can do on a homestead to work out. So there's no excuse on a homestead to not have a way to get in shape. Go out and pick up a sledgehammer. And I mean, how many of you guys that have homesteads have some old junk tire lying around? I mean, every homestead I've ever gone to, there's always a junk tire somewhere. Go grab you a sledgehammer and start beating on the side of that tire. There's all sorts of things we can do. And then I think in doing those things, the more that we become prepared, the more we push ourselves physically, the more that we increase our faith. When we start to do these things, I think our mental strength increases naturally. I have a lot of people ask, well, what do you do about mental preparedness? Well, I think a lot of it is just you're now more confident. You now know that you can survive. My wife and I have talked that while on our homestead, we don't have everything that we would like to have to survive. There are certainly things that we would like to add to it. We know that if the world fell apart around us, we could survive here. We have the resources, the knowledge, the means, the supplies that we could survive. And so when you get to that level where you're not in this constant fear that, oh my goodness, if things collapse today, there's no way I could survive. When you get to that point, you're like, wow, I'm in better shape. I've developed new skills. I have stuff that I've, put away. I feel pretty good about myself. I think that also increases our mental preparedness. So, my wife is talking about carnivore, eating a carnivore diet. There's lots of different ways, and I'm not here to tell you, which way to eat and what to do to exercise, because it's going to be different for everyone. But we have to start doing stuff. We have to start, moving, losing some weight, getting into better shape, eating better, getting to where your heart rate can handle things, all of that stuff. because part of the reason I think personally that America's health is in such decline and everyone is so overweight and all this, I think it's for a purpose. There's a little bug flying around in here. I think it's for a purpose. I think it's been to weaken us, to get us to be hyper dependent on pharmaceuticals, and a sickly, overweight, out of shape, unhealthy population is unlikely to rebel. So stop listening to the health services and the all that kind of stuff, and get rid of some of this stuff in your life and start eating healthy and moving and getting in better shape. You do that, develop some skills, become more self-sufficient on your homestead, grow more food, learn how to defend yourself better, water, medical, all this kind of stuff. If you do these things, and honestly, most of them aren't complicated. They may be hard to do to lose weight, but it's not complicated. But you do these things, and then you turn around and you realize, wow, I'm pretty self-sufficient. If I was cut off from the rest of the world, I could probably make it. And that's where you want to be. That's where you want to be. Foraging itself is healthy. It gets you out. Yeah, forage. Go out and forage. In fact, I need to be, this week, I think I'm going to look for some mushrooms again. It's about that time. I know some areas that there are certain seasonal mushrooms, so they should be getting out soon. So yeah, get out and forage. Get out and move. I mean, that's the big thing. Control through food, meds, and media. Exactly. I believe that's true. Composting, yes. Love beef bacon, yes. Lamb bacon, yes. I don't know what NSB is, but stinging nettles, yeah, I like stinging nettle tea. That's one of our go-to things. In fact, stinging nettle tea, a little thing that you can do is make a large amount of it. And stinging nettle, if you make it in a tea, it's one of those things that you can't really take too much of. There are a lot of herbs that you can't take too much of them, and stinging nettle is one of them. And so when I make it, I'll put it in a half-gallon mason jar and quite a bit of stinging nettle tea in it, and then I'll let it steep overnight. That way you're getting every bit of goodness out of that, and then try to drink the whole half-gallon the next day. And it's a real good for adrenal fatigue, a lot of other things, but it's kind of a natural energy boost. I mean, it's not a stimulant, so it's not going to feel like drinking an energy drink, but it is a natural kind of helps where your adrenals or glands are fatigued and stuff like that, so it can give you a little bit of a boost. So which is another good thing to have. And then another one, it's probably too late in the year for most of you, but those of you that have the wild roses on your property, the little pink wild roses, you can also use the white wild roses, which are invasive, but they will work. Harvest the petals, the rose petals of wild roses, and they have a natural coolant in them. There's a chemical in them that's a natural coolant. And then as soon as those start coming out in the spring, start blooming in the spring, if you harvest those rose petals and then you put them in apple cider vinegar and let them soak for 4 to 6 weeks, by the time you do that, and that 4 to 6 weeks goes by, you're now into summer. And then take you a glass of water, normal glass of water, and put a couple of teaspoons of that apple cider vinegar that's soaked with those rose petals, and it's a natural cooling. It actually cools your body because there's a chemical in the rose petals that does that. So that's a nice little refreshing drink in the summertime. Yeah, wormwood tastes bad. Yes, it does. Wormwood is not a good tasting herb. Some herbs taste great. Some of them are okay, kind of neutral, and others just flat out gross. Yeah, wormwood is not the best tasting. Well, I think I'm going to get off of here. It's been almost an hour. Want to thank Grafted and Grace Creations for being on here tonight. Go buy some soap from them. MT Knives. Go buy a knife from them. Magic Prepper. I'm sure there's a bunch of other stuff. Frank Family Homestead, Grandma Ginger, Short Bus Mooner. Keep seeing you comment on there, and many, many others. I want to thank you all for jumping in tonight and talking to us. It's been even though it's just me, my wife, she's in the chat. I'm sure you all figured that out, talking to all of you in the chat. So I'm going to get off of here because I have a lot planned for tomorrow. So I'm going to get busy and going to do all the things that normally have to do anyways. All right, folks. Thanks, Magic, for the compliment. You folks have a wonderful evening. Just keep getting yourselves prepared, and don't stress over it. That's the other thing. I should have mentioned that. Don't stress over it. Just keep pushing yourself forward. But don't stress out and, kind of lose yourself and think that you're going to collapse and fall apart and all of that kind of stuff on your own. Keep moving forward and just trying to be the healthiest you can be, the most prepared you can be, the most self-sufficient you can be. And that's really the direction we all need to be taking. All right, folks. Thank you all for watching. And I'll catch you in the next video. There we go. Maybe. Is that